good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are listening to us from. Somewhere in Ghana, it's towards the night now. Somewhere in China, it is in the morning. Somewhere in Australia, I think they are heading towards the morning by now. And somewhere in the Americas and in Europe, it is toward late afternoon by now. Thank you guys very much for joining us. My name is Kingsley, Komla, Elik and Mortey. You are here on the Ndc Forum. Let's do this.
The 5 kg of rice has moved from 25 cedis to 165. Oh.
Hey! Boss, cement moved from 24 cedis to 105 cedis now. Hey!
The kenke is 5 cedis. The fish, I have 10, 15, and 20 cedis. Which one do you want?
Hey!
Stop the A.
Hey!
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Ghana cannot survive another 4 years of the NPP if Mahamudu Bawumia is elected president. By 2028, Ghanaians would experience unprecedented levels of poverty. He will plunge the country further into massive debt. Dozens of new taxes will be forced on the people to pay for Bawumia's economic mismanagement and corruption. Each family would owe the NPP government thousands of Ghana cedis. Unemployment will reach a third of the country. There will be no money for health, no money for education. Disease and mortality rates will soar. Our children will have no hope and no future. We will not survive. On December 7th, the choice is yours. Don't let this be Ghana's future. Stop Bawumia. Save Ghana. The future is in our hands.
You can engage in all the propaganda you want, but if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
Has the exchange rate not exposed Dr. Bawumia and the NPP? At the end of December 2016, the cedi to dollar exchange rate was 4 Ghana cedis to $1. Today, it's about 16 Ghana cedis to $1. This is more than 4 times the amount of cedis one needed to buy $1 in 2016. Today, as a result of the free fall of the cedi, many businesses have lost significant amount of their working capital, with many collapsing in the process. Did they not say yeti sikaso?
Yeti sikaso. Omenyo hiamai enam amemua enkoyeti.
Ghanaians are worse off as prices continue to soar on a daily basis. Putting food on the table has become a daily struggle. The hardship is real. It's time for change. Vote for change. Vote for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
How can we solve the unemployment crisis in Ghana? Yes, Massa.
By using formula 133.
Can you expatiate?
Say, this simply means 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. That is the Mahama 24-hour economy policy. Under this policy, businesses will be given tax incentives, cheaper electricity, financial support, and security support services to encourage them to work 24/7 by adopting 3 work shifts of 8 hours each. This will triple job opportunities in the country. This policy will boost production, increase productivity, and generate well-paying jobs in all participating businesses and public organizations.
Ejumanu A.O.B.
Excellent. The 24-hour policy will be a game changer.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
2024, yeah, back to Mahama. 2024, yeah, wanna know.
It's Body Beats, the drum king.
2024, yeah, back to Mahama. 2024, yeah, wanna know. What's the one pay mama? I feel the world lose to mama. It's the one pay mama. I didn't know walking mama. I am pay mama. I feel the you lose to mama. It's the one pay mama. I didn't know walking mama. 2024, yeah, back to Mahama. 2024, yeah, wanna know. Woman, yes, to Obama. Woman, yes, to Mano. Ubi, I see, yeah. Ubi, I see, you. Oh, no, I know, go. Oh, no, I know, go. What's about John Dramani? NDC, you know, yeah. One on body, one on pay, mama. Somebody as a neighbor. What's the one pay mama? I feel the wood to mama. They say one pay mama. I didn't know okay mama. I am pay mama. I feel the lose to mama. They say one pay mama. I didn't know okay mama. 2024 yeah, but to mama wana. 2024 you wanna know go. Woman to Obama. Woman to Omano. Ubi I see yeah. Ubi I see you. Oh no I no go. Oh no I no go. What's about John Kamani? NDC you na po. President John Dramani Mahama 2024.
It's Body Beats, the Drum King.
2024, yeah, back to Amawana. Mahama.
Yo, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And for many of us who have been part of this data support from the NDC Forum, today is simple. Let's tell somebody new, let them follow the page, let them share, and then they should just mention your name under this video. And the highest 3 people that different people have said, have recommended this page to them, guess 200 Ghana cedis. Easy peasy, simple and short. Tietia, near to us one. No, Akpena Mesame, we had a BBS. My name is Kingsley. Mortey. Let me bring in my panelists so that we can greet them and then we can get started. Hey, Chama Richard, greetings. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well in Florida. The weather is comfortable for me, so I'm glad.
Thank you very, very much. Oh, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, and I'm frustrated. I have mixed feelings of what the Akufo-Addo judiciary is trying to use Ghana for. It's so sad for this United FC Supreme Court to be doing this thing to the beloved Mother Ghana.
Awesome. We will get into all of this one by one today. Rashid, how are you doing, my brother?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Kingsley.
Are you here or you are there?
I'm here.
Okay, cool.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
By the grace of Almighty Allah, I'm doing good, and we are hoping that the kind of enthusiasm that we have as NDC, looking at the party structure, each individual within the party is pulling crowd and organizing a lot of campaign compared to the weak MPP. Even if you look at their leadership, no one is just around Napo and Bawumia doing their things. But if you look at NDC, everyone is pulling. So we are hoping that everything will go.
Awesome. Today, I'm going to start with a completely different topic today, and I'm just going to play a video, and then it's 5 minutes. Then I start from Chapa Harija. It's a lot of details. It's loaded. This is what a video that KSM put together, and I'm sure a lot of people saw it. But then it's very interesting. We'll comment on this, then we get to the main other things.
Candidate for the same party saying that when I come. I was crap, most of the things that we implemented. I remember some interview that somebody said, but why are you waiting till when you come? Scrap it now. If you think they are no good, then let's hear of you. But if I scrap them now, what will I do when I come to power?
I wanted to do these tax reforms, import duty, flat tax, tax amnesty, and so on. But why don't I do it now? And why do I want to? I must have a manifesto. Otherwise, if I do everything now, if I could, what would I do when I come into office? I mean, how can you do everything now?
Me pacho, with all respect, all you followers and sticker fans, you understand why I'm saying this, but trust me, that statement was a sign of a political novice. Just go and check out the word political novice. How? Folks, everything has gone haywire. Everything has gone haywire. But Omia spoke recently, and I want to show that to make my point here, because he spoke to suggest that, oh, what are Ghanaians complaining about, but the city depreciation, it was not as bad as the time Ndc was. You know that childish, petty, comparative politics that we do. I call it comparisonitis. We compare this to compare that needlessly. Let me just stop. Take a listen to what he said about why the CD is in this state now. Listen to this.
On the performance of the CD exchange rate, it is also interesting to note that between 2013 and 2016, just before we came into office, the CD depreciated by an average of 17.7% annually. But since 2016, between 2017 and 2020, there was a significant decline in CD depreciation to an average of 7.5%. The average CD depreciation further declined to 6.8% between 2017 and 2021. However, the 30% depreciation of the CD in 2022 resulted in the average depreciation of the CD.
Okay, yeah. But if I should say it bluntly, what you're saying, Krano, you seem to be struggling with whatever you want to come up with. And you did a speech to explain the depreciation. Massa, you're an economist, and you agree with me that what matters most are the absolute values at the relative periods. That's it. So what all this trying to explain, Your Excellency Dr. Bawumia, the dollar now is almost 17 cedis. That is not why the President Nanado brought you on to take it from the 4 Ghana cedis you're complaining to almost 17. And still, you look at Ghanaians in the face and you have the guts to tell us that no, still, things are better. Still. I mean, how does that work? I want to take you back, to what his president said when he was justifying why he brought you on as the vice. That in that day, he was comparing. And he said that $1 was 2 cedis. Listen to what he said.
$1, 1 CD. In the time of Mills and Mahama, 2 CDs, $1. In Kufuor's time, one of the people who advised and helped him develop a strong CD was my running mate, Muhammadu Bawumia. Then he was deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. It's one of the reasons I brought him to come and join me, that we will welcome the CD and create again a strong CD that will be able to allow us to develop our economy and allow...
Listen to what he said he would have done if he was supervising that reckless depreciation. I hope I not say 1 to 2. But listen to what he said he would have done. If
I was done, I would say to the people of Ghana, I'm sorry. We are sorry for the poor work we have done.
Oh my God, Mr. President, they would have said what?
If I was done, I would say to the people of Ghana, I'm sorry. We are sorry for the poor work we have done. We're going to go.
Chairman Richard, this one not too long, 1 minute be, and then let's go. I'll go around and then we get to our matters for today. Chairman, let's go.
Yeah, Kingsley, I want to say good afternoon again. To your listeners and the viewers of Facebook or whatever. You see, KSM was talking maturely. He was looking for something that is impactful in terms of delivery, something that is practical in terms of delivery, something that relates to the real world. Baumia is a textbook economist. He's a theorist. All he knows about is delivering or consuming theories from textbooks and delivering them in lecture rooms. That is all that he knows in his world. He doesn't know what it means to be practical. And all of us on the panel and many people out there, elsewhere will agree that, you see, education is acquisition of knowledge. It becomes relevant to the human being if that knowledge is applicable in the real world. If you can apply it in the real world, then your education is useless. To say percentages in economics about the depreciation in percentages and all that, and when you're talking to people in the real world, is you are on the mountains, you are in the clouds, away from them. Because when they go to Makola or they go to the market, they don't go there exchanging money by percentages. They use real cash to acquire or buy things that they want in the market. So when you climb on your high average tower, and then you are speaking like this to people who want to see what you have to offer, then you are at sea, or you take them to sea, and it doesn't make any relevance. And unfortunately, I have listened to many of the economics PhD holders around Baumia, from his advisor, Gideon Buaku, another theorist, to one other aide, I think Mahama, who is now candidate in Bimbila or so, Walewale or so. And then recently we have one also coming from South Africa, one Dr. Bano. They all speak, in abstract. They are not able to engage the real world for the ordinary person to understand them. And it's a pity. And you want people to come and handle the economy. That is why Baumia, from opposition, he delivered all the lectures he wanted to deliver. He scammed people with all the nice talk. And now when it came to the actual practical delivery, for the 8 years that he has been in government, being the chairman of the managing committee and managing our economies, he has failed. A reason why he failed and tried to find himself in something he calls digitalization, which my brother or my auntie or my mother will not understand in a shaman. They don't understand. All they know is money. All they know is that, let me go and work, how much am I paid? So when I go to the market, how much agbalima or how much plantain or cassava can I bring home?
Chairman, did he fail, or because he has given all the lecture in opposition, now that he's in power, he has nothing else to give?
Oh, yes, of course. He doesn't know the real world. He grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. His father, was one of the high politicians in NDC, CPP, UP, NDC, and all that. So, he had it very easy. So he doesn't know what it takes to go to the market, what it takes to work and then make money and then live and rent a room in Ashama or Tema Community 1, or go to the farm and go to the market and buy something, sell and buy something, or weave basket, or make a mortar and take it to the market. He doesn't know anything about that. He doesn't feel it. So we have to leave him at that.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me Paul, your take on this one short, and then we go to the main matters.
Well, Kingsley, I mean, it's only somebody who is mischievous, who is weak up there in the mind, will stage or stand on a public platform to tell us that $1 to 4.2 cedis and compare it to $1 to 16, almost 16 to 17 Ghana cedi. It's only somebody who doesn't understand the basic fundamentals of nominal figures. He knows he can play with the intelligence of the Ghanaian people. That is why he was talking about percentage and this one increase. Look, the question is, how much is $10,000 as of 2016 when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was in power, and how much is $10,000 today in cedis? That is the basic fundamental issue. In 2016, if I carry $10,000 and I go to Ghana, I'm going to get hot. How much is 10,000 to
4,200?
42,000 Ghana cedi.
42,000, yes, sorry.
Today, if I carry 10,000 Ghana cedi, so $10,000, I'm going to get 160,000 Ghana cedis.
170.
Yeah, I will not say 70. I'm still using 16. I'm going to get 160,000 Ghana cedis, which is how many? How many percentage of 100 and something percent? So for Bawumia to come and sit on and be trying to play mischief, propaganda, trying to play on the minds of the good people of Ghana, that is very, very disrespectful to the good people of Ghana. And for me, he's been known to be who he is. Karma is speaking. That Lord does not, hide the truth. He lied to us when he was in opposition. He tried to play a lot of mischief. He became an economic theorist. And Nanado told us that the whole world, God has given the whole world wisdom into his head. Then I'm sorry to say that God we worship is not a true God. If indeed God has given the whole world wisdom into the head of Bawumia, and Bawumia will be giving, and Bawumia will be performing like this and be giving us this information, then I'm sorry to say that God didn't do well at all. For me, I just want to state that Bawumia, I doubt even if he's an economist. I doubt it. I never did economics, but what he's saying, I will not go and stand on any platform to make those statements. I am not an economist. But a whole economist that the whole country has praised, Ghanaian praised him to be who he is. Is this what we are getting from him? For me, I'll end and say, Bawumia is Tagbo Kukuto. I end it here. Thank you.
Pure and simple. Rashid, your take on this part before we jump into the main matters.
Can you stop it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Kingsley, thank you. You see, on say, sir, Bawumia de bia me kase, me shede nim economics boys and I say, and this is so peculiar with the MPP for no. MPP for no, they be on person mo brebre Ghana for when is because him say the who Ghana for no sana say no Ghana for here. Before I say met was no said na a comrade Paul Kase. Or 10,000, I said, you way. Me person me done in a kakrana, you'll be a TSA. And then, you find say 2016. Now me $10,000, and I'm the Ako Ghana equal investment. Says Kano, na Ghana cedis, you may 42,000. So 42,000 Ghana cedis. You find say, ne, Mako Ghana, which is the current term, and they are find say 2023. Me free America be am ho achre me kwa pay me $10,000 esa de aba because me say $10,000 am de call Ghana kwa investments it means ha ko fa aba e de aba be ye ne sa 10,000 and the value e 2,470 me sika na me am $10,000 na me de call Ghana no and then me kwa ko get $10,000 no esa de aba sika no on my any Bawumia ne economics basa bi odi aba no wa be say misika no me misika no wa say no ama say scam from 10,000 ako 2,470 on say de bia kasa sometimes no Bawumia economics na work no your nominal values and your real values in prempi no say ye din komo in general terms e wo say ye use nominal values na de kan say said ye wokoto ade na ene e bi 10,000 10,000 ye kan. So real values no and no policy omo developing policies na use sa niema no just for sa niema to say inflation bi ne niema ke kan no the policy and na me ma me wodwom obi a wote ni ba bi di ni dwa sa sika na ye frɛ no nominal values no obi anim Bawumia anim say wa fairly poto Bawumia anim say wa be catch Ghana for say if the fundamentals are weak the exchange rate will expose us no won say no wa poto sa no onim hwe san komo we no madi ama Ghana for enye omumu gidi amu say eh ye de amamu ye amamu say mombra na mo bebu oman no be na ye de ma wo no de na waye onu anim say wa fairly ne nkofo bebre anim say wa fairly so wo hwɛ sa lecture na no wo ma na all this and common cranam penning for senior economists 41. I say almost restaurants in a papa we walk again. So Baumia the onim the oka Baumia and in anado, eh? So person said your Baumia bear on. Take the exponent of Nanado, never multiply 100. We won't say Baumia no cry or no motu abaman or babe say Ghana. Nanado to make a say if you were to be the president, you say I'm sorry. Shama mua akosu Ghana this time around. The Ben won't say Nanado, Abeka, I'm sorry. We are sorry. And so they be a casade, and almost person with the data Ghana for no moons a Ghana for no yana ye or no. You need me answer, it's still young to about more Ghana for me catch them. Muma munin daho, abatua e komu Nanado any MPP no the omo ye nyina ye hu. Even MPP for no omo na hu say almost say party no. MPP for pennyfo omo say almost say party no. And until no matete omo ho afim. Enti mu nyina mo be support December 7th. Enye NDC ni MPP we Ghana this is MPP. Enti Kingsley the case am I dey or trese pennyfo bebre ti kire omo head e koso.
That's Papa. I mentioned NDC women organizer for New Jersey. Happy belated birthday! And from the, I want to say from we the group members, group members, the treasure hunters, the people who understand. My own folks, Charlie. Greetings to all of you guys up there in New Jersey. Let's keep this going. So this week we saw. Let's try to break this down a little bit. There is a law that Michael Quay used, and it has been used for a long time. If I remember, I think Elijah Fuseni or something like that was the first person that I remember in the Fourth Republic who said, Mr. Speaker, I will do the honorable thing by just crossing the carpet. And Mr. Speaker said, not so fast. You have to go for by-elections and all of that stuff because he was changing his political party. And indeed, so I will play a little bit of the law and then I will show you us what Michael Quay did to the same Formula MP that is also facing the issue right now.
If he lists the party based upon which he came to parliament at the time of his election into that parliament. So at the time of Kojo Asante's election to Parliament of Ghana, he was MPP member. And therefore he must remain MPP member until 6 January 2025. At the time Apia as Ndc MPP and independent member for Formula was filing his nomination to come to Parliament in 2021. He came as an independent member for Formula, and therefore within the 4-year mandate, his status must not change. Have their status changed or not? It has changed. And the Speaker says that that article was put into the Constitution to be able to protect the loyalty of the members of Parliament to their constituents. So if you have come and you have changed your loyalty, should they still allow you to be there? So clearly, we don't need to belabor this. And I don't think even a professor, Professor Wayoseni got it wrong. And you don't need a professor to tell you this. It's as clear as that. So I don't think the Speaker got it wrong. The political parties, if not politics that they are doing, are aware of the consequences. And that is why they always defer primaries in those constituencies that they are massaging. If not, why is it that in January they didn't open nominations in Formula? Why is it that in 2012 MPP didn't open nomination in 2010 at the 5? They always wait to beat the constitutional 6-month constitutional period where there can be no by-election. Can you imagine if this had happened in January and we went for by-election in Formula? Can you imagine what would happen? This is what they were dodging. Why were they dodging it? So we must not take it as if it is the Speaker who has given the ruling.
I don't want to play all of that, but the groundwork has been laid. Now, this was 2020. Speaker Michael Quay using the same law on the Formula MP and getting him out of the House because he decided to run as an independent candidate because before then he was an MPP MP. Here we go.
His candidature with the office of the Electoral Commission to contest the next election as an independent candidate, he showed clearly that he is seeking or seeks to leave his party. This automatically triggers forfeiture of his party membership. You cannot have the desire to leave. Take a step towards it by filing as an independent candidate and yet claim to be a member of the party. The step taken to contest against his party automatically triggers forfeiture of membership. Having forfeited the membership of the party on whose ticket he was elected to parliament, the operative language of the constitution is that he shall, which is mandatory, vacate his seat in parliament. Going by a purposive interpretation of the present law, consultative actions on the part of the MP are important. To all intents and purposes, he is no longer a member of the party. He has pronounced himself publicly as an independent and has filed his papers to compete against the party and its official candidate as an independent on 7th December 2020. On that occasion, this current parliament will still be sitting and operating as an official parliament of the Republic of Ghana. We shall not have a situation adopted freely by any sitting MP where he or she will be campaigning openly against the party that he or she still represents in parliament and yet ridiculously stands against the party. No purposive interpretation of law will allow such ridicule to prevail. Furthermore, after 7 December 2020, when parliament is still in session,
Chairman Richard Arija, I think the point is made.
Yes,
yes, let's go. We had to go into archives to pull that one out.
Yes, so Kingsley, I'm not a lawyer, so I am not sure I'll be able to speak to the law. Or the,
you don't have to speak to the law. You have to speak to the one that you are very great in.
Yeah,
common
the
sense.
circumstances and the common sense in all this. So you see, I think it's been already discussed enough, especially over a weekend like yesterday, when you listen to the main media platforms from TV3 Key Points to Newsfile, City FM, Big Issues and all that. So for me, I don't want to delve into much of the discussion, but there is a dimension to it that I want us to look at. You see, Michael Quay traveled on the same article of the Constitution, as well as their own party constitution, and whatever the standing orders of a parliament expected him to do. So he did it rightly. And it's the same thing that was brought on over a week, last week, by this parliament again. But the difference that I find is this. I'm not sure when the Formina case occurred, was there a by-election when Mr. Honorable Andrew Esiama decided to go independent? Was there a by-election at that time?
No, because again, remember, he declared pretty late. So once you get to the 6 months to the elections,
exactly,
no yes.
Exactly. So what all of them this time around did was that they decided to file at EC at a time when there was no window of opportunity for by-elections. And even and at this time around, there is a hung parliament. So you see the difference in numbers is such that it impacted the MPP caucus. And that is why they are very much annoyed.
He made Afenyomakin minority leader overnight.
Exactly. So they need to suck it in. That unfortunately for them at this time, unlike the 2020 where they have a good gap and it didn't feel it that much, this time around, yes. So you need, knowing your numbers, you should have tried to reach out to these, your MPs in your caucus that you were hurting. You were hurting them, Morrison and the others. You were hurting them. Or you were not intelligent enough to realize that you only focus on the second deputy speaker to just jump camp and then come to your side for the next election or for the next parliament and carry along with the speakership. You didn't think that far. And now that it hurts you by reducing you to minority, you are all over the place. You are in town crying, looking for breast milk from your mother at the Supreme Court. And your mother being so kind to the sons in Parliament, decided to allow them time in the kitchen and then fed them with some pacifier and gave them some breast milk to feed on. Unfortunately, that will not help you. You're still in a minority. Because when it comes to Parliament, you see there are rules in Parliament or there are rules in organizations. Some of them, all you need to do is that if a certain event occurs and it violates the rule of the organization, all you need is that remind all of us that this employee or this member has reached the maximum number of absenteeism allowed for an employee over a period of maybe 1 month. If the case is that you cannot absent yourself from work for about 5 times in a month, all the managing director or your boss needs to do is that remind you that, okay, now the attendance, your colleagues are coming, the time sheet keeper show me that for the month of September, you've exceeded five absenteeism as allowed. So all we need to do is that we fire you or we suspend you. That is not the manager's fault. That is not the manager giving an order. That is not the manager giving a ruling. You automatically vacated your job. You automatically brought it onto yourself. So like Parliament, they automatically decided to exit Parliament as the rules are, as the constitutional regulation and articles are. So all that in this case, Honorable Speaker Babin needed to do was to remind you, I've been informed. And the polls are there. The notice of poll is there. Your Esiama's MPP emblem or logo has been already established on the ballot notice of poll. So there is nothing you can do. You can't change anything. You are now out there running as an MP, but we know you here, an MP for NPP, but we have known you here and you travel into this house as MPP. So you cannot remain as an independent. So you cannot remain as independent and now telling us today that you are MPP and going for election in the same year for next year. But you are MPP today, and that's what the law says. So clearly you have created a vacancy. You shouldn't be here anymore. If this had happened ahead of the window of 6 months, perhaps the policy you have created would have run an election like a by-election for somebody else to replace you or replace your constituent. Unfortunately, that's what you have. And we have only 10 days to go. So just allow it and go home. As simple as that. Kingsley, I won't go any further.
Thank you very much. Paul, let me come to you, Paul, on this matter.
Kingsley, it's so sad, so disappointing that, simple rules, parliamentary rules, that the Supreme Court will bring itself into a ruling that the Speaker has made. For me, what the Supreme Court did.
Paul, I think that the next level we'll get to will be on the matter of the court. For now, we are just dealing with the basics of the matter.
No, I'm going to talk about the basics of the matter. Right. For what the Supreme Court did, I think, the crunch Ghana into constitutional crisis. But coming to the basis of the matter, I personally think it's a law, and the Constitution says that if you are a candidate and you go into Parliament under a certain party A, and whilst you are there, you decide to move to party B, you are termed to fulfill that seat. So for me, whatever happened under Speaker Makukwe, under Speaker Bagbin, I don't see anything wrong with it. We need to apply the laws. The United States, the democracy in the United States has grown to this level because they apply the laws. And we need to do the same thing back home in Ghana. If we want our democracy to strive, to grow, these are some of the things that we need to test ourselves with. For me, I think Chairman Haji has made a lot of, submission. And for me, I share the same views. To me, whatever has happened, it is the right thing that the speaker has done. It's the right thing that, we need to do as irrespective of whoever is in power. I will support this thing. If it was NDC that was in majority and this thing happened, I will still support it. Because if you read the speaker's ruling carefully, the speaker was saying that if they don't put safeguard on such things, people will do these things and it will be disadvantage to the party that brought them into office. So for me, I will not talk much. It is the right thing that speaker did. And let us all remove our political lenses and look at it in the direction of democracy. Because that's the only way we can grow democracy. If they want us to pass a law to say that if you move from your party and become independent whilst parliament is in session, and you are doing that for the next election, there's nothing wrong with it. Then let's go and amend the constitution and put it in there. But for now, whatever is in the constitution, we all need to follow the constitution. We need to abide by the constitution. We need to go by it. And I think whatever Speaker did, Speaker Gbagbe did the right thing. And I just want to urge Speaker Gbagbe to stand on his feet. He should not allow anyone to interfere in his talk and his assignment, his responsibilities, and his rulings that he's giving. Let us all stand behind the current majority leader, Dr. Tufosi, and the majority group in parliament, and let the speaker also stand by his ruling. This is what I have to say.
All right. Rashid, we all remember somewhere in March, before the 2004 elections, Professor Wayoseni, just like the person mentioned, resigned from the NDC to join the MPP. Then was like, Mr. Speaker, we'll do the honorable thing by just crossing carpet. And then they said, no, we have to go for by-election. That was the first mistake. Because at the time, it was far from elections. And unfortunately for him as well, he was also not a card-bearing member. We remember at the time, Nana Hininto was the general secretary of the MPP. And then he came on the radio and said, look, we couldn't allow him to contest the primaries within the NDP. But mind you, this guy resigned from the NDC to join the NDP as MP. And so even the primary he couldn't contest because Nana Hininto at the time said he wasn't a card-bearing member. And then that is how come the NDP even snubbed him. And that was the literal end of the
political career.
Of Alhaji Wayoseni. So if, and even then, the MPP didn't find anything wrong with it. It's the same thing. The same rules, it's the same laws that have been applied here. Go.
Kingsley, also, you know, meaning your party be a Ghana need and party be an party be a Ghana needs and a party be. And you know, ya kwem say MPP for no percent. Meaning Kingsley, like an I be a minim tremeka crowd because Mentiasi. Party be a party, Ghana needs and a party be an
debut. Nancy, a man from Bino, the above fan says, said you a more pena, a more answer. Meanwhile, they are the ones who sound the dumbest.
Yeah, you see, I buy the botechino, and one year the boba. So, I'm a few crown. Sa MP, ya wo for me na MP, we ye do. MPP for an edit wo, only so a casanco for you. Ye did do. My most of we lawyer, someone in Murano. Adenene, a buyer, ye can't wasem. Ye disambra crona did. It will be a sad summer crony do be the same house of parliament. No? Master T did to the extent say minority leader no and only to me Gina Hockey can't send the boss wasem. And ya assembly and come to be MPP is a weaker party. Patapaniska or maybe an omode began of when you Nankai a fenyo marking. Go basically a minority leader cry lady MPP. Kasa cry when Nimam big Omkasa patapa and I addition P2. Hey, Kingsley, dear Omoyan one. Ama Ghana phony be brain shed and tinny maybe I say.
because what you crana because now the DNA course you perceive a Ghana for say Samra Crona a mred da article 97 about be mu da honum say be say a loyalty assembly can me the NDC and our parliament me the NDC our parliament no me term no kono we me free MPP me free NDC eco may be independent semeko eba sana nkofo na me no me present wo no san nkofo no me loyalty ni wen because say me ni ade bi mu gidie me see that represent sa ade no eno na the basis of sa article 97 mra no a ewo mu a ene ye speaker ede aba ba mu a wode eno amra na ayden ede edi sa for MPC ye di mu a ene.
I think said that behind the spirit of the law, no, some of us believe say look at Ghana here was this year. Him say next year John Mahama Eba power. So MPP we need by some pure accident from Ashanti Region on the seat of parliament. That MP can choose say, look, NDC in our power. I'm going to do business with NDC. And because joining NDC with my seats. More power, so it reduces the numbers of the MVP just because the person want to sell his vote to the biggest bidder because the NDC will be in the power and he feels that he will get some opportunities. That is, I think, one of the things that the framers of our constitution were trying to avoid, such that once you enter the house like that, stay like that. If you want to change color, come back home and then change the color from the house before you go back in there.
Because cry to a base 137 by independence and it's so musano and random who quines on base adiano. Now omitting a join baby on person to form
Fabina Pino. I don't know Nanado Coca say independent beyond to me, my no, he saved him.
Yeah, on the save, you know. Intiana me pese Ghana 40 as you say. The course of parliament, you know. If you sorry, almost say just 2 months. I then I train my money. Maybe Chama be Ghana for her. So 2 months, yeah, she say NDC for a majority. Yeah, but Chama say, yeah, no, you're Ghana for. Ye be Jina sa 2 months we soon come sa a tour basa be a Baumian and MPP at the buy-in. Ye Jina 2 months now, say, ye will party be a Ghana, then I come to say NDC. Me the leadership for parliament di me jomu di to the sense how 11 na omodi abes Ghana for many omumia Ghana for many den say ye be ko IMF di nti de no ba no sa 11 no me say NDC for within 2 months we ye be ye free honom betting tax ye be ye free honom nti Ghana for mun support yen mun jina na mun support yen na mun say NDC a party bi a ebe boa Ghana for Ghana the MP NDC akoma so na ka Ghana the NDC akoma so 1992 constitution no e NDC for na chroye e NDC for na
maybe now would they kono one of the obi kasem we me bon just a little bit they first say or say the American president was impeached 4 times then so PNC and so the parliamentarians should also use the same opportunity to at least impeach Nanado.
So the first thing I wish they would do, I know my brother Maliba will disagree with me, but the first thing they will do, it shouldn't matter whether it will succeed or not, is to start the process to impeach the president.
That's what you expect them to do.
Yeah. So listen to me. So listen, in the US, they've attempted impeachment 4 times. Not once has those attempts succeeded in removing the president.
It should be on record.
But it should be on record that in 2024, the people of Ghana, believing that Nanado haven't wantonly breached the terms of the oath he took to the people of Ghana, to want to be faithful to Ghana. He's been unfaithful. Take the Galamsey issue, how he's handled the Galamsey issue. The economy. You take how he's.
Actually, this was going to be my second part of the question. Didn't you know? Then I'll go back to everybody else to run through.
Yeah, Kingsley say, sad 2 months we know Ghana form for money share NDC and share the audio moon should be kakra within 2 months. Now moon say party be at the Ghana for Akumas way NDC. Ye debate ye sap to basa na MPP for the abba. Omoba umbeda daime to almost production to taxation and omoba omadane no taxation led na Kingsley ade bi to me pese me share experience we kakra last week ya me ka bia me pese me koyi ni Ghana Say they be sorry, I see duty boy, then yeah, can one send you did to Ghana for say Ghana for better say be about Umian and another better son. Who him say almost added tax for component for be a bishop in front VAT upfront tax. Our VAT upfront tax is over 30% to Kingsley. Mechanical yes, our component no kwa beka home. It was around 500 and it was around 58,000. Sa VAT upfront tax and abra maybe 6 weeks earlier and me check here and can no. Not just a Ghana for yesu chere sa government we omuntie. Omo da so de to bebre to niema so e wo Ghana. Inti sa 2 months here Ndc Forum ye be bibi ye be sa niema ni nyina afiro na sa impeachment process na wo kan. Ye initiate sa anya hwe kwa initiate na akoda mrem say ye yes ade no. Inti no me no de ekoso no ade bi ase nyankopon enhyehyeye na wahyehyɛ ama Ghana sei na e wo say ye ba bibi ne siye na ma ne ba sa nti no
Papa. Paul, you saw me play the tape of this thing. What is your take on that? And what do you think the NDC should use the power for, the majority for? Paul, you are on mute.
Oh, okay. So for me, you see, for me, I want to say that there's going to be a tussle and struggle in Parliament this coming Tuesday, but I want the majority, led by Atu Forces, to stand on their feet. Now that we are the majority, I think this is the opportunity for us to prove to Ghanaians that we are very honest people. We deliver on what we say, because in the manifesto of the 2024, it is stated clearly over there that Mahama said he is going to withdraw the e-levy, the betting tax, and some of the nuisance taxes that this incompetent MPP has imposed on the good people of Ghana. So for me, if we are the majority in Parliament now, we can start kick the process now and be able to do what we can do and deliver what we can and take away those obnoxious taxes that we can take away to prove to Ghanaians that yes, we are people to be trusted. We are people that when we say we'll do something, we do it. So for me, I look forward that coming Tuesday, as they go back to Parliament, we have to elect the second deputy speaker, because we don't have a second deputy speaker now. After electing the second deputy speaker, let us all work hand in hand. Let's get the people to put, motion in place to relook at the e-levy, and let's do what we can do to remove the e-levy and then the betting tax as soon as we can, so that at least we can relieve the good people of Ghana from the taxes that they've imposed on us. And Kingsley, this is not funny. I was looking at a project, I was doing a project, and I requested a bill from a company. And when I look at the taxes that was given to me, the taxes are almost over 30,000 Ghana cedi.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, taxes are not 30,000 Ghana cedi. So for me, let's use these 2 months, as Rashid said, let's make use of our majority, hold in Parliament. Let's make sure we do what we can do to relieve Ghanaians from all the obnoxious taxes that they have put on us. Let's make sure that we do good, or we show Ghanaians that we understand their plight, we understand their pain. We're going to work with them to make sure that we lessen the burden upon their head. Because it's only Ghana that COVID tax is being still taken. And when that bill came to me, I saw it over the COVID tax. I said, wow, interesting, COVID tax. So I think this is the time for us to do all these things and then set the record straight and then let Ghanaians get some relief. And I believe the majority in Parliament will do this. Precisely that coming weeks before we go to the election on December 7th. So I would say that it's a good news. Let's work at it and let's see and let's hope for the better. Thank you.
Fantastic. Chairman Richard Arija. Chairman Arija, on the matter of the NDC should start the impeachment process. And then what do you think that the NDC should do in the 2 months that the NDC have the majority?
Yes, Kingsley, we have to go all out. And I expect my parliamentarians to go all out. They have the numbers, they have the quorum to start business in the chamber. That is 50% of uh, members of parliament. Remember, originally we have 275 members of parliament. From Tuesday going, or from tomorrow now, from today going, it has been reduced to 271. Okay. So when you strike 50% of that, I believe we can come by, let's say, 90 something. Yeah, 50% to be about 137 or so, or 135 now. And I think we are 136. We should be able to make that. And also, we have more than enough quorum for 1/3 of members voting to pass a bill or make a decision. So that is also enough for us. We can make it. When it comes to impeachment, we have had more than enough until now. So, like lawyer Pierre Dankwa said in the Fafrantoman that you just played, he's calling for that. And I've been calling for that for a very long time. There is one way impeaching, and there's another way saying the impeachment has passed. So let's just do the impeachment as a record, as a testimonial, even if it doesn't pass. It will be a nice testimonial for Akufo-Addo, for all the atrocities, for all the things that he has done. We give him a fine testimonial and signed from Parliament, and then, frame it nicely, and then so he can take it away to wherever he's going. Simple. And these are all very necessary. Within the 50 days or less than 50 days, we should be able to do that. Beginning on Tuesday, when we're able to put, and we'll be able to put a second deputy speaker over there. And if the speaker himself cannot sit in to ensure that these things happen, maybe Joe Wells may not be willing to do that. He may also not appear. After all, they are boycotting Parliament, so they should keep boycotting. We'll have the second deputy speaker, either Haruna or Bawa or whoever it is, to sit in, and then we'll do our own thing. It's just fine, just nice. We'll be happy. We'll drink tea, coffee, whatever, and then do things nicely. Remove those bills, network charges. If you pay, you are paying COVID. If you export your vehicle to the harbor, revenue, you pay COVID tax, and then pay network charges on the COVID tax.
This is a copy of the 2020 vehicle that was sent to Ghana recently.
Exactly. You have some network. There is a tax, then there's a network. There's a tax, then there's a network. There's COVID, then there's a network. There's Get Fund, then there's a network. Why those networks all over? You pay VAT, there is a network VAT. At least if we can remove some of
there is African Union import levy.
Exactly. Exactly. So people are holding their vehicles in their garage for now. They're waiting for NDC to come into power. So let's start now.
There is IRS tax deposit. There is Ghana CD disinfection fee.
There's something like that. We are tired though. We didn't want to suffer. We want to go home. We want our vehicles to go home. So at least we can also go and continue our lives in Ghana. And they are making that thing so burdensome.
Yeah.
So I agree. We want to see them.
Fantastic.
Speaker Babin may have to rest and allow some radical second deputy speaker to take over. And then we run our affairs through the elections. And we'll be fine.
Okay, Chairman, let me start from you. The judges, and the thing is that so many things was very interesting. I saw some people ask questions that Tuesday comes, the speaker instructs the marshal to work them out. What will the judges do about it? Then the thing about the fact that the Supreme Court justices seems to be go against the Chief Justice, who said that Parliament can only be served on Mondays. And all of a sudden, the same judgment that came, that Parliament should be served on Mondays, now seems that no, Parliament can be served any day. And this is the same court that the issue of LGBTQ, they still haven't found a date or a day to even sit on it. The case is still in ambia. So the behavior and attitude of the judges in total with respect to the so-called judgment that they came up with overnight. In fact, before the Bagman even made a pronouncement, Afenyo Makin have already sent a case to the Supreme Court judges. And the question is that how do you take a case that have not even happened? He predicted the Speaker of Parliament. Chama, your take.
Yeah. You see, the Supreme Court judges are failing the country. They are failing our democracy. And you see, we expected that the executive branch of government, we know them. We know the president. He came through the ballot box and then won elections and then, appointed ministers. So they are really in the political environment. We can understand. They pick their ministers and other appointees from parliament as well as elsewhere. So I can understand if they are playing politics with the whole system, as well as the legislature. They've been playing the politics from the field all the way into parliament. So I can understand when they stand and they are whipped into a certain line to make sure that things happen for the people. But a third arm of government, which is the judiciary, I was thinking that the judiciary, from all the courts to the Supreme Court, they should be fair enough and be moderate and be moderating between the executive and the legislature, so that when there is misunderstanding.
Chairman, without due respect, did you say the third arm of government?
Yeah. I mean, in the real term.
Chairman,
I'm not talking about the judges there.
I had the opportunity to speak on OKFM and they asked me about the three arms of government, and I said, Ghana, we don't have three arms of government.
Exactly.
We have one arm and two limbs.
That's it. I'm only talking from textbook. You understand?
Okay.
That's not a reality on the ground in Ghana. But on government, there is a subject called government, politics, and political governance, and all that we have studied in the books. We expected that this is the way it should go. But it is not like that. I wish they will go back and fetch and then pretend to be moderating between the two hotheads around them. But that's what we are. Nanado has ended up fielding the Supreme Court with his parliamentary candidates and MPP, parliamentary candidates and MPP, deep MPP judges. And it's not helping us. And these judges want to get over there. They should pretend at least. How do you form a panel on one day? I remember 2008 election, some court was raised on a Sunday immediately. And, some lawyers from the NDC side went quickly and then went to stop them. Why do we have to continue like this? Is that a democracy? So can they pretend more? Just on Friday, I don't know when the whole thing was filing. I heard the filing was done on Monday when Afenyo appeared in Parliament on this matter. On Tuesday, that's what he said.
Yeah.
So I asked myself on that day, on the Tuesday, I was asking, Mr. Speaker has not said anything. But you already filed the previous day, and you are serving him. Serving him for what? Has he spoken?
It be forecaster, lottery forecaster.
So I don't know exactly. I haven't seen his suit. I haven't seen his rate, but I've seen some other documents running around like that of the Supreme Court decision. And then you ask yourself, so if you say stay of execution, I don't know what execution or some order. When I listened to Speaker Babin, I didn't hear any order. I didn't hear him ruling on a matter by quoting a certain law. All he did was to inform us about a law that exists. And by that law, if you don't stay within that law, Article 97, 1 and section F and G, or G and H, if you don't stay within the law, then you automatically need to do something. He will not order you to leave. It's the law that is telling you that having violated the rule, all you need to do is just go home. And I believe those people who are the MPs understood exactly what they were getting themselves into. They haven't spoken. They haven't said anything. They haven't filed additional suit at the Supreme Court or anywhere, High Court. They are quiet. They are calm. And so it's taking that they understand exactly what they have done. They are not challenging anything in Parliament. And so they understood that, having been informed from EC and in the public that this is what you have done, they know exactly what they have done. And they are continuing to campaign for their independence or being MPP candidate. That's all. Nobody has stopped them from campaigning as an MPP candidate for MENA. Nobody's stopping them. That's not the law. Nobody has given them that order. Go and continue. You are free to stay home for the next 50 days or 40 days and focus on campaigning in your constituency to become the MPP candidate for MENA come next parliament. So they are comfortable with that. They are going home. They know. In fact, they will save resources and go and concentrate in the constituency. Those going as candidate like the Sumun guy, yes, now. So I don't know what the Supreme Court is about in that rushy way. At least you have some time from that Friday or from that Monday all the way to next Tuesday when Parliament will say. You could have taken some days, maybe from yesterday, today, and Monday. You also have time to maybe talk between the caucuses and bring the speaker to see whether you can have them, go into some arbitration behind the scene over the weekend, and probably they can come to some understanding. You went ahead and then you pronounce. Stay of execution of what?
Chairman, let's go to Paul. Paul, your take on the way everything went with respect to the judges.
Kingsley, you said that my thought on what?
The whole thing, the way the judges, the timing, how there was a previous judgment of the Chief Justice that said that Parliament should be served only on Mondays, and that means so many things that we can continue to list.
You see, the Supreme Court has consistently shown their imbalance and injustice to the good people of Ghana. Let's take the issue of the birth certificate, for example. How can a birth certificate be termed not to be a document that can be used to identify you? That judgment itself was in error and continued to be in error. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yes. So looking at the first, the statement they passed about the birth certificate. Now, you see, I think if Rashid or Dr. Chamanija can correct me, the LGBTQ suit was filed as far back as maybe February, March, if my memory serves me right. The Supreme Court sees no agency, okay, in addressing this issue or calling this issue or janting this issue.
But Paul, to the defense of the Supreme Court, their defense is that in the case of the LGBTQ, there is nobody will be disenfranchised. There is nobody who. But if this one is carried out, these members of Parliament are representing people, and that because they are representing people, those people will not have any representation. Then I'm sure your next argument will be that what about the people of the South who have been without representation for the entire 4 years, that have not had any form of representation for this whole period? So again, then the case of the
answered your own question.
Paul,
asked your own question.
Paul also talk about a sin-off.
I'm going to come there.
Okay, go ahead.
You asked your own question and you've just answered your own self.
Fantastic.
Look, let me tell you, the people of SAL, Sancho Kofi, Lolobi, Akpafuli, Dikpe, as we speak, 4 years going, they have no member of parliament. In that instant, it didn't affect them, or they didn't have anybody to, represent them. The Supreme Court saw nothing wrong with it.
Right.
The Supreme Court saw nothing wrong when lawyer Chachuchi Kata tried to correct the wrongs. The Supreme Court did not have any agency or saw any agency in making sure that they get somebody to represent the people of SAL. Now let's come to Asimnov. When they did their shenanigans and tried to get our member of parliament out of the parliament house, the Supreme Court saw nothing with it. They didn't know that if they get him out, the people of Asim North will not have somebody to represent them. You see, the appropriating and appropriating of the Supreme Court. This Supreme Court has constantly shown that they are a political wing of the MPP. Why am I saying so? If they are not a political wing of the MPP, how come that any case that will be brought to the Supreme Court that is or involve the government at a speed of light, they call the case? And I can give you an example. When this e-levy issue crop up, when they went to court, within 2 days, they were able to empanel judges to sit on the case, and they were able to give their rulings. So how come that there are a lot of court cases in the pipeline? Are the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice Kedru Tokonu, telling us that appraisal marking is more important than Duncan Williams, Sam Kwanchi Ankara? Mention them. The Chief Imam. Mention the number of Ghanaians who are against this LGBTQ bill, who they want the Supreme Court to pass judgment on this case. For me, the Supreme Court, the alacrity and the speed at which, within few hours, that they went to file this case and they were able to put injunction. And the question is, what are they injuncting? Right. Are they putting injunction on the ruling of the Speaker, or are they suspending the ruling of the Speaker? I'm not a lawyer. None of us is a lawyer, but I also listen to Key Point, Newsfire, and other programs, and we've had a lot of fine senior lawyers, fine judges, and people have spoken their mind. I think the Supreme Court erred in putting themselves into this case. At worst, they should have allowed, if Appenyo Makin wanted to do and stop hot house or the ruling that the Speaker gave, Appenyo Makin should have pushed the affected parliamentarians to run to the High Court to go and make their case, not him running to the Supreme Court. And if you listen to the Joy FM reporter, okay, who was at court, who reported about how incident went, you could see clearly that the Supreme Court judges were even coaching Appenyo Makin's lawyer how and the way he should present the case so that they can get a merit in it to be able to do something. And I saw it and I heard it. You understand? Now they are suspending the ruling because they said they've infringed on the human rights of these 4 MPs. Which human right? Those MPs, can they speak for themselves? Is now Appenyo Makin the spokesperson of these MPs? For me, this is shameful. This is totally unacceptable. The Supreme Court of Ghana, if the way they are going about judgment, political judgment, are they expecting anybody to trust them and bring their case before them? The Supreme Court should be very, very careful because they are the only arm of our legislature, part of the sorry, they are the only arm that is able to bring peace or to bring settlement among arms of government. Okay? If they are also doing this thing, how can we have the trust and hope in them if somebody have an issue to take it to them? And Kingsley, I'm very happy that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has stated emphatically clear that we will not go to the Supreme Court this time around. Because with this sort of judges we have over there, who will tell you that a birth certificate is not a document that you can use to identify yourself, there's no need for us to go to the Supreme Court. So therefore, we shall win the election from the polling stations, from the coalition centers, from the regional coalition centers, and from the national coalition center. We shall win the election on the grounds. We will not allow this Supreme Court panel, which Adanado Donkor alone has appointed over 11 or 12 of them, to be doing this to Ghana. It's unacceptable. It's very unacceptable. And the Supreme Court should bow their head in shame for this shameful judgment or suspension of the Speaker's ruling. It is in which part of the Constitution that is written that the Supreme Court can go and put suspension on administrative decision taken by a Speaker of Parliament? I think coming Tuesday is going to be interesting, as Chairman Ali just said. In fact, we hear today that they are going to bring the military there to bring order. But I think this time around, Speaker Gbagben and the majority in Parliament made out of the NDC side to stand on their foot. They should make sure that they will not allow what happened in 2020 should happen again. Anybody who will bring military men to the House of Parliament, we should deal with those military men. They should face the law as it is, because Parliament also have right to subpoena or to drag people before them. If we see military people in that house on Tuesday, they should drag the security army commander to answer for it.
All right. Thank you very much. Rashid, your take on this part?
Yeah, Kingsley. Ghana direction Ghana economy. Nkwa ye kra na yenum bi yakasa saa yaka ne edi eduru bebi a yaba bedru he na na don prepare ne yese we human rights lawyer aya na mebusa me say na ampa we lawyer on say ye nyina ye join some professional affiliations. We in our profession we have some code of ethics, and I say even some kind of ethics be a bit guide o onumedie enti se wo ya ade bi kra na in hindsight no wo say inherently, like ethics and training now we and a better free side now we so we any paboni cry. But as an anado said ye share any dear no Paki Supreme Court or Paki Supreme Court judges no. And I can say unim the oye pa like adie bia oye no unim the oye no unim the babesi and no na die duru hanom no. Adan na hwe ye 3 arms of government. I name say bookum basis of government fundamentals no the actual no your executives legislature or honum your judiciary no even crown ye can judiciary no no ye appoint o my ento omo so aba no adan na ye pese de bia sorry a balance of power and separation of powers na ye kan no adan na legislature ye parliament no omo making laws now Supreme Court are interpreting laws ye fan say basically in Juma Wudi no. Now Parliament, the Speaker, Kasa Kingsley, the Speaker of Parliament is the 3rd gentleman of the land. You have to say, President niwa, none vice, ban vice niwa, na Speaker ba, Speaker niwa, sana your friend is saying, CJ widen, waba. But no, this one say nanado nimdi no oyentin. Washada Paki Supreme Court no. With MPP for one quam as I say, MPP ring back on Supreme Court honor. Omuni Boni Omudi, so what steady pie? Yeah, they be a go to court. MPP for bro for back no. You can go to court. Omuni the Omoye. Adena, ye can't from Parliament House. Ye be whom commend your craft marking. Etimi sorry, yeah, with vim and vigor can say. Adiale or court to near the Abra even crown. The basis of court now con ye nyama resolution be around it.
Right.
It's what you should head your moyen, Sa Supreme Court to a with autonomy. May say Speaker of Parliament and Subejiatum. Now even crown like almost Sa Supreme Court judges and almost so assassin almost professional conscience when almost professional conscience when say 3 arms of government and one judiciary legislature no. It didn't come more based on precedents. Any the causing almost standing orders or parliament or just will buaten we are now within 2 hours, 3 hours, most more capacity be here. baby Nanado dia bedruni sansem we kofo kaye MPP from penny for be breaker say opesa oto abama obi ahwe nipa no se de ositie ne ye ne ade Nanado amamu nko a ne yehu se obe cause conflict between the arms of government. Enya asem ne yen kampo a na nka wo ni judiciary no wo se ne hwan ana legislature aka asem a wo ba be counter no. Why not to abama? You can say true representation of the people. And it is in the legislature. Legislature only yet to abama will be as a Ghana for number representing honor. Not standing orders ni president ekoso hono. Ye bu atanya mama nanado ashishe mwachi abo bobo bomunfunum munkwa na munim dia moye nseme ehia bebre dida hono ma monka ho asem. Ye won penifo bebre omo pushi omo se omo bu atan na ne mankwa but omo nye. They are not doing one of them. But as some way by no, wake can't boom se see a buatamba. Pesala Samia, okay, the Kingsley must send away be see. So, Obi ya Ghana needs in Ghana bill. Constituency being your constituency. Sala same way that's all one can't want because moon money pa. Oh, the BIA car, Diana do you know. It's not only about the Supreme Court. Just look at the EC. The same way is playing, the same thing is playing out. We hear you see the echoes of week here, Mukrase, Memphis Central, your PC. You see a paper no home, I could disqualify without any court EBR because Nanado a pilot MPP for good. You see, what pilot MPP for good, the Supreme Court. Sadia no muye he. You be who feed gadochi election after election, you be who sa niema na do ye no. Ayenum bika CSO so company for be breaker ubia din echo. So they feel so comfortable. The MPP and their apparatchiks ne sa almost professionals and so omo professional. They feel comfortable said the economy. But ye catch almost say omo twaso. Eni breba ohu. Omo busuafo kro omo hu omo. The Equasuna Supreme Court epese omo cause confusion Tuesday. Ubon say military for ne ade de see no omo de saa de ne bia beba so omo be intimidate amanfo obi antwemma obi a Ghana fo ehia mu nyina mo support saa 2 months ya eduru we NDC pese we bibi e de kire mo say NDC ya party da kwa Ghana fo so intinioma bebre enko ye no within 2 months ya ye be yi to bebre free ho na mo atomo enti mu nyina mo support yen na mo hwede na nado any Supreme Court judges no ye no wo say ne hwan ana ye ka balance of power sama who's a judiciary legislature akasem so what prepare ho be cancel because you want to cause confusion. This judiciary Supreme Court judges one person cause confusion be Ghana keke but yen twem mo ntimi de Kingsley kakra meka no because nyema bebre nkoye wo Ghana ana de we start yen ne eso tete ho na ya start ya yen hu no.
Chairman, we have been informed through Mauli Dake. Mauli Dake is my friend, by the way. Mauli Dake informed us that he visited TOliver and there have been beatings and torture and so on. Chairman, what is your take on the fact that under this dispensation, 2024, in Ghana, people demonstrate and it has become a crime and being detained without anyway, Chairman, your take.
Yeah, Kingsley, I want to remind you that I am a player and a product of a certain military regime. I'm operative, and except a few excesses at a time, I tend to even cherish that regime than a democracy that we choose for ourselves. We've not regretted transitioning the country into a constitutional democracy when we had all the chance to continue and evolve our own system of democracy as we wanted to do under Justice Biafana through the National Commission of Democracy. In so doing, we ended up birthing a local government through the district assemblies in 1988. So if we had continued gradually, starting from the ground, unit committees, district assemblies, and then moving on to a National Assembly, which we envisaged. And then out of the National Assembly, under that commission, would have evolved out or gotten out with a certain representatives from all over the region and all over the communities, then end up with an upper chamber where we will have a certain primus inter pares as the president or as the leader of government. Unfortunately, we had to abandon it out of internal and foreign pressure. But even that, when we stepped into it, it's part of the difficulty from the UP tradition when they abandoned the process of consultative assembly and all that, and then put up a whole assembly of tailors, caterers, teachers from all shades of life to have a say in the drafting of today's 1992 Constitution. They abandoned it because they said they are the intelligentsia, they are the lawyers, so they cannot see how teachers and caterers and market women and the trade union members to be part of that because they are not elected, so they cannot be talking about Constitution. But this Constitution has endured over the first parliament and the rollings through all the parliaments and governments, through their own government under Kufuor and through Nana Addo. We've never seen anything under Rawlings regime that come close to the atrocity, the brutalities, the violence that is being meted out to us. In a constitutional democracy, we have a constitution, we have rule of law, we have judiciary and all the institutions in place. We have the police, we have IOCO, we have Shirak, we have all. Unfortunately, I don't know what we are doing under Nana Addo. This tyranny, this despotic regime, this authoritarian, this dictatorship under the Constitution, it is becoming worrying. It's provocative to the point that sometimes some of us feel like going on a suicide mission. Positive defiance. Allowing ourselves to this man for him to do whatever he wants to do with us. Because we can't live under what he's running the country into and the choice that he has adopted to just put gangs and thugs and hoodlums, put on uniform in the way of as if they are members of a certain police institution that are professionals, and torturing people, threatening people. The media and the journalists have their own. The CSOs have their own share. Individuals, a trade union guys. You talk, you are gagged, threatened, and visited in your home or whatever you are, to the point that you keep quiet. If it means we have to pay, if it means they have to pay those people to hold them on the path they are choosing to do that. If you refuse and you want to focus on what is called democratic path without violence, this is what you suffer. And that's why TOliver Vormawor is suffering. It's not like he lives in Ghana and in need of anything. He lives abroad, like you and I. He could have chosen to continue living outside, like everybody's doing. Galamsey is going on. Our waters are being polluted in Ghana. We are being poisoned gradually. And many of people, Ghanaians in the diaspora, are not talking about it. I haven't seen much. Meanwhile, it's our own siblings, our own brothers and sisters who are living in Ghana and getting poisoned day by day. Are we waiting for them to be poisoned by the galamsey for us to go and bury them? That is something that should agitate our minds of people living in the diaspora. Are we happy to go to Ghana at their death, go and bury them, spend money, and make parties, funeral parties, and be happy that we came to bury my mother or my brother or my sister? So I'm going back with this $1 dollars and I transfer my head. Is that what we want? We should be expected more to give back and speak back and challenge the Nanado and his government more than those who are in Ghana, because you speak over there, you are threatened. In fact, you don't even have the mouth because you are even thinking about what you are going to eat tomorrow. And we sit down here and our friends and our brothers cannot find money to go to dialysis. They don't have even medicines.
Chairman, let the rest also make a commentary, and then we go to one. There is one topic I wanted you guys to talk about. Paul, your take on this matter. TOliver is still behind bars, and not just that, being tortured under a so-called a lawyer who came to. You are still on mute. I'm sorry. I'm just delaying.
So yeah. You know what? I mean, democracy is no more working in Ghana. Okay. Under the regime of military rule, where we have First Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, who was a minority leader, even we didn't see this sort of torment and torture. But under the human rights lawyer or the human rights president, this is where we are rather seeing people being tortured. No matter what the guy has done, the Supreme Court itself has passed a rule that you cannot hold anybody, or you cannot, put anybody away for 48 hours. So for them to be, frustrating him, to be granting him bail, not to grant him bail, is something that we need to write home about. I read that, he was ill, and then the police beat him up, and the police came to say that no, he was not ill. They were trying to, a whole lot of stories up and down. Should the police allow this even to happen in the first place? This guy is not a flight threat. It's not a flight race, sorry. If they grant him the bail, this guy will never leave the country. So I don't know why the police, where they are taking their instructions from, and they've refused to grant bail to this guy. I am saying that.
Paul, did you say you don't know where they are taking their instruction from?
Yes.
You don't know.
I'm not going to.
Oh, you won't say, or you don't know.
We all know they are taking their instruction from another. And the question is, they should not forget that power.
No, he's speaking in parables.
You understand?
Oh no,
I like that, Chairman.
Some things you can't do that.
You see, the IGP and those people who are mistreating and frustrating this guy should know that power will change him. Power is not something that is permanent. Whether they like it or not, by the grace of the gracious God, by the grace of the good people of Ghana, December 7th, NPP will be booted out of power. And as soon as they are out of power, we will get a new president that will take over, and democracy once again will work in Ghana. Nanado is a tyrant. He's an autocratic leader who has used the military, the police to brutalize Ghanaians, and he continued to do that to sit on our freedom of right, freedom of speech. And I can tell an example. Asim North in 2020, 8 people were murdered just because Nanado wants to have majority in parliament. As we speak, Nanado has not even, as a leader of the country, has not reached out to these families to even say, I'm sorry, or the country is sorry for what happened. Nana Addo doesn't see anything wrong with it. We can never continue to stay under this terrorism, autocratic, and under this tyrant president as a president. And I am happy that all the good thinking people in Ghana have seen that Nana Addo was a president that Ghana never got. We shouldn't have had Nana Addo yet the presidency at all. But the good news is now if we speak, they'll come after you. When John Mahama was in power, we had Otabel, we had Mate, we had people who were speaking. Professor Adai. All these people, they are not afraid to talk. Why are they afraid to talk? Because if they talk, Nana Addo will molest them, Nana Addo will mistreat them. That's why they are all running away. They cannot talk. And you know what? Posterity that Mahama said on 9th December is judging us all. When Mahama was in power, people can say anything they want. Nobody will come after you. Nobody will, sit on your freedom or right, or they will throw you into jail and try to deny you bail. Why is this happening under a president who claimed that he's a lawyer, he's a human rights activist? For me, TOliver, that they refused to grant him bail, I think when government changes, TOliver should sue the police service. And you know, unfortunately, we have an attorney general who is also weak in mind, who has evil mind that's like Nana Addo, who instead of him doing the right thing and letting Nana Addo know that the way he's maltreating people, the way he's sitting on people's freedom and right is not the right thing, he is even rather worsening the situation. Ghana, we don't have democracy in Ghana again. In this country, as we speak, in America, people insult Biden, people insulted Trump, people are insulting Biden, people are insulting Kamala Harris. They cannot do anything to them. In Ghana, when Mahama was in power, they insulted him. Professor Mills, they insulted him. There you go and insult Nana Addo. You will they will hunt you down within 24 hours and throw you into jail. For me, the democracy that we strive for the past years has been thrown to the dogs. But the good news, and I'm appealing to Ghanaians this evening, that let all of us rise up on 7th December. Ghana needs to be reset. Let's reset Ghana back to its previous glory. Nana Addo has destroyed Ghana. Nana Addo has made Ghana what it is today, and it is unacceptable for us to allow anybody around Nana Addo to get or to be in that Jubilee House. We have to make sure that we vote Bawumia. If I'll be happy if Ghanaians can vote, and let's even make sure Bawumia will not get even 30% of the vote. So for me, TOliver, I sympathize with him. I'm not trying to justify what he did, but if he has done anything wrong, use the laws of the land to deal with him. But don't try to frustrate him, deny him bail. If you don't take time, Kingsley, TOliver might die on them in that prison custody. And if that happens, this is going to affect our democratic credentials we've chalked in the whole world. And if you look at the freedom of democracy indicators, Ghana is dropping day in, day out because we have a tyrant, an autocratic leader as a president in the form of Nana Addo and Bawumia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. There was one of the things that was not on our bill, but I wanted to play this with you, and then I go to someone with Alavija for him to run us through the Takoradi interchange. Ghana went into an agreement with China. So China government made it their commitment. Ghana government was supposed to make some money available. Unfortunately, I'm already scanning now. So Ghana cannot make small payment for small interchange. No, that's what Bawumia said. Ghana card is better than interchange. So the Chinese government has decided to just take back. It's pulling the metals that were in the structure of the interchange. Watch.
Hello guys, so currently we are here at the Takrady ETC interchange in Takrady. We all know that this is the first ever overhead that is being built in the Western region. It is a 3-tier interchange, but the interchange has been stalled due to some monetary issues which we all know, and this has been stalled for about a year now. And currently as we are here, we are witnessing that most of the iron rods that was fixed for the interchange is being removed, and this is the current situation over here. You know, we are trying to speak to some of the foreman and also some of the contractors over here to give us a concrete reason why this iron rods are being removed. But upon our you know, we did a bit of investigation, we asked a bit of questions, and according to what we are hearing, the work might not continue this year. Yeah, the work might not continue this year. So that's what we actually hear. That's the reason why they are removing all these iron rods. Then they go ahead to come and fix the interchange. They will come and fix the iron rods back. So looking at the situation, there is no hope that the interchange is going to be fixed right now. So this is what.
Send you more can no credit. Someone who say yeah, dismantling because Juma no more suspended. Now, almost suspended no. Yeah. Ajumani ye Ghana government between China government agreement now I'm pay you and as I'm pay you. It's because of that no. Skasame wo honti omo dismantle Ajumani and almost suspend the Ajumani to omo dismantle because China government nisika abedim and anything na our authority etimi be yi normal na our site no.
Into the dismantle is being done by the China government.
Of course, because on the contractor.
Chairman, what's it be? Come on.
I like the style. This charity for me, I love the keke. Yeah, actually, they are trying to salvage some of their lower their bad debt. It's a nice thing. You go because you go and then you take the iron rods and go and sell or keep it somewhere to salvage some of the debt.
Yeah, and more importantly, even if they don't take it now, these TOliver boys will come and take it anyway. So better save the thing quick.
Yeah. I hear even the railway, the Bakadan railway, and whatever. People are removing the rails and they're selling. You haven't seen that video?
No. Why is that Azan train that they said they got an accident?
That one too is getting lost. I think somebody has taken it away. So the Chinese are very, very good. I wish, you see, recently there was a video on the University of Fisheries, or Fishing University, somewhere in Anumabu, that was built under President Mahama and has been abandoned in the bushes. And he has some generators sitting down there and getting rotten. Almost 8 years old. About 8 generators. The contractor should have picked them out and sell to surface some of the money. You see, that's Saglami. Air conditions were put in the houses, and some of these scraps were also left at the construction site. So again, if I were the contractor, if I had known this, what the Chinese are doing, I have collected them and then sell to salvage, lower down the debt, and the debts are going to be bad debt anyway. And most importantly, Commander, the same way, the Anumabu fish cannery factory, the same way, we shall service all the things. Now, I'll advise Toby after that. They are not paying him. You should pack the generators and sell. No, that's what I like. You see,
if you can, you should go house to house and fetch the last power.
I'm just joking.
No, I'm not. This one, the country is so broke. Then I don't have to destroy this country.
You see, the way things are happening.
We must rescue this country, inshallah.
And a lot of debt, unnecessary debt, has been saddled on this government. And I think that we, as NDC, when we come to power January 7th, we need to hold all these leaders responsible. And not only these leadership responsible, because a lot of financial debt has been caused to the country. So that at the point that if we need to freeze some of their own properties while they are going through the process of making sure that we retrieve the loot to take care of the cost they have burdened us with, we will have a lot of debt on our hands. And we cannot continue to borrow to continue running the country. They have cost us a lot. Look, we have been sued by many organizations. Remember that we are owing a certain judgment debt, which is holding our embassy properties in the UK. If you're not very careful, those things are going to be executed, okay, and sold to service the debt. So a lot of things like that are there. Cathedral, some embassies, Mali embassy and Bulgaria embassy, and all those kinds of things. We need to hold. We have to fence the country. We have to close the borders. Nobody is going anywhere. Mahama never went anywhere. He has lived through the whole country for the 8 years. So nobody is going anywhere. Nanabu and his brother cannot go. In fact, we will have to fly back as Antibody to come and put him in Kolebu. Because Rawlings...
He's trying to take the back door. He's trying to take the back door and go.
Yeah. He's trying to finish. We'll bring him. We'll bring him. We'll fly him back to put him in Kolebu.
You shall not die.
We'll sustain him.
Let Paul the system make a comment on this before he goes, and then we bring in Rashid. Paul. Okay. Paul is gone. Rashid, your take on the video that we just played.
Yeah, Kingsley. Ghana the Pempens why I be drawn na the person can be big.
Rashid, just 1 second. Paul was trying to run. So, Paul, go ahead.
Yes. So, you see, as we speak, at the time that His Excellency was leaving power, our debt, international, or the money that Ghana owns, was around 120 billion Ghana cedi.
Right.
As we speak, our public debt is over 742 billion Ghana cedi. Nanado alone, for this past 8 years, has added over 600 and something billion Ghana cedi. But the question is Kingsley, Sikano wahe, Sikano mwedi gumunu, Sikana ashe. We don't know where the money is. I think the good people of Takrade and Western Region, they should learn sense from this. The project that they threw dust into their eyes, they're going to take the money and they are sharing the money to buy vote so that they can win election. Instead of them using the money to develop that bridge, to complete the bridge. When His Excellency Mahama became president in 2012 to 2016, on record, he borrowed about 56 billion Ghana cedi. Out of that money, we have the Dubai exchange, that's the Kwame Nkrumah flyover. We have the Temnatre. We have the Legon Hospital. Count projects. Rich Hospital. Count them. Out of 56 billion Ghana cedi, this is what Mahama left for us. Over 600 billion Ghana cedi. We don't know what Nanado and Bawumia have used the money for. For me, we have known who Bawumia and Nanado is. When Bawumia was in opposition, almost every other week, he was holding lectures. And when the fundamentals are weak, the economic was... Today, is he telling us that the fundamentals are weak? Can he confirm? Can Bawumia be truthful to the good people of Ghana and tell us that, people of Ghana, I lied to you guys?
That is warp logic.
Exactly. For me, Kingsley, it's so very unfortunate that the people of Takrade will not be able to enjoy that flyover. I can tell you, and I can assure them, that if they vote, and we vote His Excellency John Dramani Mahama back in power, that flyover will be completed within a year. I can assure you. Because we will look for the money. We will look for the money. Kingsley, I think I know you teach mathematics, and I know you're very good person when it comes to calculation. Nanado has bought a whole V8, a Toyota Land Cruiser. Do you know how much it costs? It costs to buy a Toyota Land Cruiser brand new. Almost $78,000. That a seat, his seat that he sits on. They put it in. They fill that. How's the name? They'll put gas in that Land Cruiser. Drying. You see, Kingsley. When some of us we are talking because of what we've seen, at times we try to go overboard.
Right.
We have our brothers and sisters who are suffering from dialysis. They cannot even get money to go for dialysis twice a day.
Right.
Leonardo was sitting in a private jet, flying in the air, paying $15,000 an hour.
But he has to bath.
And when they asked them, they said because he has to refresh, bath in the air. This is the sort of person we have as a president. And if Ghanaians make the mistake, if Ghanaians make mistake again, and they vote for Baumia, we will see twice of what is happening under this super incompetent, aimless, visionless, and impotent government.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Let's Rashid take us home on the matter of the obvious. Let's go, Rashid. You are on mute.
Yeah, Kingsley. Already. Sorry about that. Yeah, now Ghana the impens why I be doing you. Her China. Me who sa documentary me dwene ho ana me ntia says na de na ekoso yi a e wo say China for ana wonim say was MPP for so mo track o say yi bi o mo de ya say see hu baby e nam no ka hu bi a o matena ho road ministry o honom ye finance ministry o honom agreement no concern dey na akwa akosi amase say sa de we ekoso me hu bi da e wo Ghana Kingsley meaning so who be there to the extent say international financier be maybe Chinese company be a project be say na wasa base or searching maybe I no me catch Ghana for say mun be money na mo hwede ekoso ye nuanom takrade for MPP for be dwa o manum kire am so on be overhead amamo overhead no acho Kingsley it's not today o
yeah
check a mun nyina o de campaign ade ba de aduru ene China for mun ya krom be bubu ni nyina egu na afedi asa nti omo ton kakra de recover e car omo bono ana e dia bedru nti MPP government and MPP amamu we no omo nye government papa bi e wo say Ghana fo nyi omo gidi o ti me de bia me catch omo say Ghana fo mu nyina mu man kan bo mu nye baako ne fighting ti asa MPP amamu we omo twan to bebre a che na ba ne simple na ye overhead ama enuanom omo western region takrade abedu sam pempen so na hu say abanwe no skabia eba no omo de show omo botom omo de gu ho boaboa no say omo nim say Ghana for sebi adwini senti no omo de ba mayen omo de scan be mayen na yato aba ma omo scan de omo de bro age wa usika uji ya no acho omo say omo pese omo bu kwase enti wo beto aba na my former president John Dramani Mahama because January 7 there ono an yesu ani in na wode Ghana wa be reset Ghana na wode Ghana esim pempens won kwan Ghana for yese omo koso Kingsley we no the cat we no kakra so aka won say concerning Oliver Asem no.
Yes.
I won say ye hwe sa MPP amamo we akufo adu di anim a say we human rights lawyer say den there. Ye be kai Ashanti Region regional coordinating security bi omo vandalize omo me free omo di omo some vigilante group bi bowura hoko two papa tam no
invisible forces no
invisible forces for no
amko yi no first floor no
omko yi ni first floor train sreda sada edi no besin ye de ob ye chi bi court ni de omo sa court twitch magistrate ni wa obi aso yi nkofo ni pie
judge no onyim female judge pregnant woman.
Look at this. Nkofo we di boni we nyina we abusa se ene de di Oliver FM ye omubi. Debi ye you omo ba fie ntentem we no kra no na akofo ado se won tie ase until say SSNIT peace council for kasa ya ansa na omo yes omo de omo kokot no sa de omo ba fie.
I know, Krasa, the Attorney General at the time say they couldn't recognize them. They don't.
Omuni evidence. Almost evidence. Into what you Ghana. Oliver Pabusa say Bonnie Ben Oliver. Bonnie Ben why? All co-demonstrations say Insu say, night menu me and Indians to Papa nom. Ya yeran the Nakotoni Yemi and Omuna Crank Ombekono. Iti Ghana no Pempenswana Nadu Eddie Abidrum. Busan say Baumia same way see or Kabi afa home. On can't by him, ye stand, your former president GM, they be our come once more post to case, Muin Kufu by him fee, Baumia da son in nam the channel or Casacra, say, who are punchireni, and I say, when him the old canteen, and coupon a voice in if you monka cranka crack, because we can't to be Gugana for so, or Casacra, but Timigana for a dear way singing on a cocobo. Said in another year born coquayan tia, I didn't mind, and then Pempenswa the Ghana bedroom. It is our Baumian, the only who are no idea.
The 5 kg of rice has moved from 25 cedis to 165.
Hey! Boss, cement moved from 24 cedis to 105 cedis now. Hey!
The kenke is 5 cedis. The fish, I have 10, 15, and 20 cedis. Which one do you want?
Hey!
Stop the A.
Hey!
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Ghana cannot survive another 4 years of the NPP if Mahamudu Bawumia is elected president. By 2028, Ghanaians would experience unprecedented levels of poverty. He will plunge the country further into massive debt. Dozens of new taxes will be forced on the people to pay for Bawumia's economic mismanagement and corruption. Each family would owe the NPP government thousands of Ghana cedis. Unemployment will reach a third of the country. There will be no money for health, no money for education. Disease and mortality rates will soar. Our children will have no hope and no future. We will not survive. On December 7th, the choice is yours. Don't let this be Ghana's future. Stop Bawumia. Save Ghana. The future is in our hands.
Chairman, your final words and then let's get out of here.
Yeah, Kingsley, thank you very much, and thanks to my panelists. And we nearly forgot about Erastus, Donkor.
I was supposed to add it to the tools, but
So with what is happening to everybody in Ghana, being attacked and being tortured and being, we have to pray for our lives. People should be careful, but we cannot give up. The positive defiance should continue, enough of the atrocities. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity come December 7th, an opportunity for us to change the course of the country for a better Ghana, for peace and justice in the country. And that's why John Mahama, a known hand, a known pair of hands, a very sober and level-headed leader, we need to return him. We are not bringing anybody new. We are bringing somebody that we have known. We have tested before. He left a lot of deliverables for us that we can point out to. So on the day, December 7th, cast your vote and stand by to help protect the vote for John Mahama and our parliamentary candidates. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Kingsley Mortey. We've been on the Ndc Forum. Join us again next week. For many of you, at least we have also announced that people who are qualified for the 200 Ghana cedis each Momo support. Tell a friend to join us next week. When you ask for somebody to join, let them like the page, let them share, and let them mention that you invited them to join us. And the more shares you get, the more mentions, the better your chances of getting that. Again, I'm hoping that we will do more for a lot more people. But the later we can, we continue to do. I wish everybody well. My name is Kingsley Mortey, and we'll do this again next week, Sunday. Thank you guys very much.